it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles are turning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right.
Good morning. My name is Tonya Bowell, and I serve on the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. It is my delight to welcome you all this morning, whether you are here at UUCS or virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. There are many important announcements on the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open your bulletin to see all that you can be a part of. Please note especially that a Path to Membership class will be held after the service on Sunday, April 16th. All are welcome. Please sign up so we can plan for lunch. And now I would like to invite Geraldine Mark and Pam Stoll to share with us about the Carver Art Reception.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so very much for being here. And also I'd like to say that between the Sanctuary Art Committee, also Hospitality and Social Justice, we're very honored to invite this congregation to be a part of what we consider to be a wonderful collaboration between Carver Middle School art students and the Southside community and the community that we have here. What you will see, and Pam has one, and we're going to get some more, and for those of you who have happenings, you'll probably see it in your happenings, but on April 16th, between 1:30 and 3:30, the Hospitality Committee, along with Sanctuary Art and also Social Justice, we will be hosting a very lovely reception for these 7th grade students. And as you can see, there's some of their art that's already being on display. They've been diligently working along with Atari Leach and several other people who've tried to make this happen. So if you'll mark that on your calendar, April 16th, we have a lot going on that day, but we are going to host a reception. The reception will begin at 1:30 and it'll last until 3:30. Those children, their families, and the Southside community and other community people will be in attendance here at our church. So we thank you so very much for remembering to come. Thank you.
Well, good morning again to those of you that are here with us in the sanctuary and also those of us joining us virtually. My name's Ruth Stanton, and I am so happy to be here on this beautiful spring day. I went around the back and looked at the art that's up already, and it is amazing. You cannot believe it's 7th graders. I mean, it is truly, you've got to go look at it. And kind of going in with that, our chalice lighting today is by David White, Working Together. We shape ourselves to fit this world, and by the world are shaped again, the visible and the invisible, working together in common cause to produce the miraculous. I am thinking of the way the intangible air passed at speed around a shaped wing easily holds our weight. So may we in this life trust to those elements we have yet to see or imagine and look for the true shape of our own self by forming it well to the great intangibles around us. And now if you'll get your hymn book and the gray hymnal and turn to number 20 and stand as you're willing and able to join us in Be Thou Our Vision, number 20. We have a tradition of sharing our joys and sorrows through the metaphor of the rippling bowl. The water in our bowl is still and flat, and when we add a stone or a shell, it adds energy to the bowl that we can see as ripples. The stones and shells we drop in may represent sorrows that, when shared with each other, can spread out and diminish, or they may represent joys that, when shared with each other, can ripple out and increase our joy together. I invite you to come forward to place a stone or a shell in our bowl for the joys and sorrows that are on your hearts. And I'm going to put a stone or a shell in the bowl for those of you that are joining us virtually. You may now come forward.
There's a land that I heard of troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
I grew up overseas, and this song was one of the first American songs that I learned. And so thank you for doing such a beautiful job with it. Our denomination does not have a particular creed that we have to believe in order to be members, to belong. But our particular congregation did create a covenant a number of years ago to express how we want to be in relationship with each other and with our surrounding world. Please join me in saying our covenant together, and you can find it in the order of service or on the screen in the live stream. We are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. We are glad to be together and have an opportunity to greet each other now. As a truly diverse people, some of us are exuberant greeters, and some of us are quiet greeters. Please check in with those you are greeting for clues on how exuberant to be. We want to respect everybody's personal space, and it is fine to remain seated if you would like to. And one more thing, we could greet all morning, but we've got more things coming up, so when you hear Aaron play, that's a reminder to return to our seats and let the greeting begin. We have a lot of good energy this morning. I think it's the spring sunshine that's doing this. So it is now time for our offertory. Our church and its work are supported through the generous donations of our members and friends. As part of our work, we share the plate with a different social organization every month, and half of the offering loose cash and any designated gifts will go towards that special organization. And this month, we are donating to the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women. Mary Miles is going to share with us more about this great organization now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sounding exuberant like Mel. Where's Mel? Mel's a good friend. She's rubbed off on me. Anyway. This month, as Ruth mentioned, we are honoring the work and impact of an organization called the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women. It's IWC for short, with whom we're once again sharing the plate. And we've done this almost every year since 2013, so it's an organization that we have supported over the years. I originally learned about IWC in 2010 when I was serving on a grant-making panel of the Unitarian Universalist Funding Program in Boston, and I've been an individual member and financial supporter since that time. IWC is the leading Unitarian Universalist organization focused on the rights and empowerment of women and girls worldwide. It works in partnership with UU Women and grassroots women's groups, as well as with other progressive women of faith. Priority action areas are economic livelihood, health care and reproductive health services, domestic violence and prevention, political expression, and family and community values, and leadership development. Since 2019, IWC has had what they call special consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. It's the highest status bestowed upon non-governmental organizations. This special status confirms that the work of the IWC is consonant with the work of the United Nations and invites the IWC to actively engage with the Council and its subsidiary bodies, as well as with UN Secretariat, programs, funds, and agencies. IWC is able to send delegates to the annual meetings of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, which it did March 5th through 17th for the Commission's 67th session. IWC also hosted 2 parallel events at the Commission's NGO Forum, which highlighted learning and grassroots mobilization in the digital age and focused on young women globally and women with disabilities. The insert in your order of service highlights just a few of the past projects and programs of the IWC, as well as some recent and ongoing ones. Additionally, IWC has raised funds for Ukraine humanitarian relief and for Ukrainian refugees who are living in Romania. They, along with the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, are working with and through the Hungarian Unitarian Church and its charity organization, translated, because I am not good at reading Hungarian, as Providence. To learn more about the IWC, go to the website address that's included in the insert in your order of service, or speak with me. Half of the undesignated money you contribute this morning and all that you designate to share the plate will go to support this really unique and effective organization, which creates a global network for Unitarian Universalist women and promotes UU values around the globe. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
So the order of service says silence. And while Scott Neely has taught me the importance of silence over the last few years, the cat is away and we're skipping it. We have a lot to get to today. If you have seen, we have a little bit of an interactive meditation today. And we're trying to keep you not too long. Together, we create the beloved community, growing in wonder and care, open to everyone. What is our vision? 4 years ago, Scott, the long-range planning, and the board began discussing a visioning process for the congregation. Why? In order for us to align our purpose. Why? We are already a loving, generous, and highly active congregation. Yes, but how much more loving and generous could we be if our purpose and our abundant energy were aligned? I can imagine it, and it's beautiful. After 4 years of planning, we engaged in this visioning work this year, and we want everyone to participate in the whole process. In the fall, many of you attended cottage meetings where you had a chance to share our values as a church, as a congregation. We have many. All of the words and phrases that were heard during those meetings were distilled through a very intentional process, and that created the proposed mission statement that you've been hearing for the past month. Some of those words are on the board out in the lobby. Now we're at the V part of MVC, mission, vision, and covenant. And today, we are attempting an interactive meditation where you will all take part. If you already attended a Vision Cafe, it won't hurt you to do this again. You can even change your answers. If you are with us virtually this morning, you can be a full participant in this process. Sure, it might feel a little bit weird. It is the UU. But I want to invite you to please stay with us and take part. You all will find sheets in your order of service with the questions on top. Online folks, you can use them or just a plain piece of paper, just like those here in the sanctuary. During the conversation time, Peggy will give instructions in a moment. If there is someone there with you, talk to them about your visions for UUCS. If not, take more time to write or have a text conversation with someone. They might be participating virtually too. Feel free to put your thoughts in the live chat on the YouTube. Afterwards, we ask that you take a picture of your pages and email them to office@uucs.org, or use snail mail or bring them by the office. Your data will be your ideas will be part of the data collection. Please take part this morning. You are a part of this place, and your vision matters. If you haven't taken part in a Vision Cafe, welcome to the process. This might be a little bit of holy chaos that gets talked about in this space sometimes, but I think it will be fun. So as we enter into the interactive portion, I want to share a reading from John O'Donohue from one of my favorite books, To Bless the Space Between Us, and I hope it will guide us a little. It's called For a New Beginning. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's dream, life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you, that awaits all of us. So now I'm going to invite Peggy Hamrick, our long-range plan co-chair and MVC leader, to give us some instructions and lead us through this part.
There's nothing I enjoy more than telling people what to do. So this will go really well for me. I am so grateful to Aaron, to John O'Donohue, to David White, to Ann this morning, and to John Lennon, of course, for asking us to be dreamers, for challenging us. It's when I found this church, it reinforced to me that I know I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I look out and see the dreamers in this congregation. And this morning we invite you to dream with us about your vision for the future of this church, what we can be to each other, how we can grow, what we can be in this community, and to think big, as John O'Donohue just suggested, to step into risk. So what we're going to do, and I'll just tell you, I know this is not going to be your favorite part of this, is we're going to time us. Because although you may not want to be timed, you do want to leave here at a reasonable hour. So what we're going to do is look at the 3 questions that we have been looking at during the visioning cafes. This is a process that usually takes 2 hours, although 35, 40 minutes of that is food and fun. Y'all don't get that this morning. But it's still, we are collapsing that process because we want every voice to be heard. When this process is over, we want you to know that you have had many opportunities to share your vision of the future of this church. So we are going to ask you first, and I will time you and let you know, to take 2 minutes to write your answer to the first question. We're going to start there. And then we're going to ask you to look around you and find a group of 4 to 5 people that you can have a brief discussion with about their answer and your answer to this question. It would be really helpful if someone took good notes, and we are going to collect all of the information at the end because we consider it data that we're going to be using. But it's going to be brief. And as you are doing that, you might want to, if you have something you would like to say to the larger group, to the larger congregation, you might want to appoint a group spokesperson who is succinct in their ability to express things. And remember that you can always add to your sheet before turning it in, and you can always email us additional thoughts that you have about these questions. So I'm going to ask you to start by looking at question number 1, where you reflect on our proposed mission statement. Together, we build the beloved community, growing in wonder and care, open to everyone. In what way does it inspire you? What does living out that mission look like? What does it call us to do? And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to ask you to stop and speak with the group that's close to you. Together, we create the beloved community, growing in wonder and care, open to everyone. And if you were like me and like to see things in front of you, it is in the first section of the Connect, it's written. Yes. Yes, Mary is saying that the current mission statement is on the front page of our serve, and the proposed one is in the section, the first section of the Connect. Not yet. We have 17 seconds. We should have had that written down.
I know.
And my timer says that now I'd like for you to take 4 minutes to talk with the small group around you about this, taking notes as you go. Okay. I'm going to walk down and see if anybody has questions. Okay, I will too. Okay. Okay. Done. Okay, folks, finish up your sentence, and then we're going to take some time to get comments. Whatever a group would like to share, we'll take 2 or 3. Anne's going to carry this around. So who would like to share some of your or your group's response to this question? Who would like to share something? I see Marilyn's hand.
Well, this is from the group of Pam and Irene and Kara and I. We talked about reaching out, growing in love, being kind to everyone. And then we talked about a lot about focusing on our church being known and respected in the community as a hospitable and welcoming place.
Thank you, Marilyn, and the rest of you in that group. I think that is something we hear over and over. Who else? Here we go.
Well, we talked about the things that are in the original mission statement by comparison, and it seems to, hit a little more on kind of like what the covenant, speaks about. More of the, injustice and challenging that, and sustainability and celebrating diversity. So we were just saying that if we're going to be open to everyone, as in the new mission statement, then to us, we kind of agreed that it means we have to do more outreach. It's not just enough to say we're open, but we have to do more outreach to all people. And we realized there was a lot of people that may have traditional religious objections in other communities,
Right.
but because we are here as a refuge for those that are marginalized in those various communities, we may have to do a little more outreach to get them to see that this can be a safe haven and a sanctuary.
Thank you. I think one of the things we've talked about is knowing that there are people out there that need us. And how is it that we let them know we're here and that we're a safe place?
Okay, our group, Shiloh, Aaron, Victor, Noah, and me. And one of the comments was beloved community, liking that word, but it has to be very intentional, not just haphazard and not with power structures that are unhelpful. And then the care, I think, brought to mind something really practical of having like a food shelf in church where if somebody needs something, they can take it, but if people don't need something, they can bring it and leave it there. And then starting with the word together was very powerful because that is really how we do what we do. And then adding some kind of wonder care and some kind of word for activism or social justice or outreach, something like what you said too.
Thank you, Ruth. We have certainly heard that. I think that I feel that there's some energy around that as well. We maybe have time for one more. Does somebody? We have one more over here. Yeah.
You have 4 seconds. I'm just kidding.
And strict.
Okay, we liked everything. Together we create a beloved community, growing in wonder and care, and then at that place add supporting each other regardless the path that person is traveling.
Thanks, Chris. Y'all wrote down that exact wording that you can turn in, right? Okay. Thank you all. It's exciting to see this diverse group of people be able to do this activity. Now we're going to go to the next question, where we imagine, this is our dreaming question for sure, that we imagine that we are successful in creating our envisioned future. Whatever that looks like for you. If money were no object, my favorite part of the question, what do you envision for the church and the larger community? How will the community be better for our efforts? How will we be known in the community? What if we were more generous in sharing our you-ness? And if you'll take a couple of minutes to write your answer first, and then I'll give you time that you turn and work with your group again. So yeah, I think so. Okay. Now, if you'll take, we may give you another minute or two, but a few minutes to talk to your group again about this question. And although it's fine to participate in the same group you were in, it's also fine to move around. But dream big for yourself, for the church, for this community. Just want to make sure he had a group.
They're all still around.
Okay. They won't say what happened.
That's okay.
It's okay too. ready? Okay, folks. Thank you for doing the in and out with us again. And if we can finish up those conversations you're having, it's nice to see everyone. I feel the energy of everyone participating. Who has something they'd like to share with the larger group? There we go back there. Miss Geraldine.
I think that if we had more money, and if money was no object, one of the things I think that I believe would be beneficial to not only the community but to the church community would be to reach out more to the youth and young people and young families, because I keep saying that the future of this church will be young people. So what we continue to hold on to for 30 years, I won't be here in 30 years. These little ones will be here.
Yes.
So what are we doing, and if we had the money, what could we do to be more targeted, have a more targeted approach to reaching out to youth and young families?
Thank you. I think you're right. Who else?
Part of what we talked about is our vision would be where we would be very active in our community. We would unpack what the beloved community means, first of all, as we've said before, and we would be more in touch with what our needs, what our gifts are that we have to share. We would have a better way of our gifts being shared, and we would be able to meet. I have a vision that there is the world, there's a soul in the world that is swerving with all of our gifts and all of the needs that are there to be met. And with money were no object, we could do a better job of that.
Amen. Who else?
Fred and I were talking, and we had two kind of overarching themes, so we came up with break down barriers to include marginalized people and articulate our faith better. So that's two things, one for the community, one for ourselves.
Thank you, Riley and Fred. Patricia? Oh, somebody over here. Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about the outreach, and I think what JD said about young people particularly, especially when the percentage of nuns is really increasing. But I think we have a lot to offer that age group and who are not accepting of any kind of institutional religion. They may be spiritual, but they say they're not religious. So that's one target area. I think I grew up as a Unitarian, and I know over the years I've seen there's been reluctance initially, and I think it's changing, but to proselytize. I mean, I think there's been real concerns about proselytizing people, but I think reaching out, and then this is with our message of what we are and what we have to offer. Personally, I'm concerned, I would like for us to be more open about the diversity of our religious beliefs.
Yes.
And I noticed in the new proposed mission statement, there's nothing really that speaks to what I as a humanist would like. And I can maybe propose some things, but I think we do have a large number of humanists, and I think in terms of intellect or something, mind, a reason, that I think that's, and I think that appeals to a lot of younger people too.
Thank you, Mary. I think you're right.
Did I say it right? Yes.
You did a great job.
And you got the approval of your small group. That's never easy. Never.
Hi, so I'm Grayson. I was talking with Mel and Allison. We were thinking about this question of how to reach out to our community. And I'm a former evangelical, and Mel and I are also concerned about, also reluctant to sort of proselytize, reach out to people. But I guess there are ways to do it that are not cheesy, that are...
Oh, good, you're in charge.
There are ways to do it that I think would be authentic, like, but it wouldn't be like stands or billboards or... Yeah. We didn't really get this far in our conversation, but I'm curious to know, like, showing up at community events and, yeah?
That's what I said, that it's all about the partner. Sorry, so we really feel like that happens when we partner with other folks in the community that we support that are like-minded causes. One of the things I had written down was that I would really like for us as a congregation to be known as a force that can nimbly take on timely causes and deal with them effectively. And I think an example of that was like how we worked with the immigrant funding during COVID, and that people knew to come to us as someone that could actually creatively, sort of handle that problem. So I would like for us to be kind of known as the place that can do good work quickly and well.
I think about when Roe versus Wade was overturned, Mike Pence was here within a day or two, and how Barbara Dorsey, who's not here to be praised, and a phone tree had over 100 people there the next day to protest. That's nimble. You're right.
Yeah.
Rebecca. I'm sorry, Patricia. Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about the same things, about ways to make ourselves more visible, and we thought about how about having, just like we have the Earth Day Festival, but that, as wonderful as it is, it doesn't, it's a specific amount of people that are really concerned about Earth Day Festival.
Right.
And they still may not know us, but if we had something like a You Are Welcome Day, or a You Are Home Day.
Oh.
With food and music, and then have our literature out there, and to
you
give
can
people an
co-chair
idea.
with
Grayson.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Yes.
Right, and then Tony was saying, and then if we put it up on social media, especially we might attract more younger people if you put it on social media and they can come, and so you just kind of reach out, cast the net wider.
Cast the net wider.
Cast the net wider, and then maybe have a festival. Let them know like who we are and what we do, and
that is wonderful. So when we bring our youth, our intellect, our dreams, wow. I know it's 12 o'clock, even though we tried hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to take a couple of minutes. And I want you to notice that the question number 3 is a really limited question. It does not ask how you would rewrite the covenant if you would rewrite it. It just basically says, we've described the purpose of our covenant, which is our promise to each other. It can have values, beliefs, behavior that we hold dear. We just would like you to reflect on everything that has changed since it was adopted 7 years ago. And if there's anything you would change, just jot that down. I would add this. I would take out that. I would be sure this made more sense. And we're going to see whether or not this is the time to rewrite or re-explore our covenant, or whether we may do that later. But if you'd take just a couple of minutes to do that, and we will do our best to get you out of here pretty soon. Maybe even 1 minute.
This question specifically refers to our current covenant that we say every Sunday, not the proposed mission statement. Because we are running on time, we're not going to have time for group discussion and big group discussion on this particular question. But we do want every one of you to hand your pieces of paper to me at the door when you leave, because it's going to get put together with the other Vision Cafe data into the whole big thing. Then that will intentionally be gone through by the committee. I think we've both said it earlier. If you have other additional thoughts after you leave here, you are welcome to email them, catch one of the MVC committee members. Like, it is kind of this ongoing thing, so don't feel like today is your only chance to share what you're thinking. And there is also one more Vision Cafe on Tuesday, April 11th at noon, that is a brown bag lunch, so you can come to that if you want the more intimate version of a Vision Cafe. I hope this was enjoyable for you all. I hope you could feel the energy that is in this space. It is not easy, but when we take time to slow down and really listen to each other, it can be highly rewarding. When we find shared purpose and align our energy, our congregation becomes a team. When our congregation becomes a team, even more amazing things will happen. So let's continue really listening to each other, finding our shared purpose, and aligning our energy. I cannot wait to see what happens. Together, we create the beloved community, growing in wonder and care, open to everyone.
Okay, if y'all will rise as you're willing and able, turn in your gray hymnals to number 300. This is not a common hymn, so Aaron's going to play it through once, and then we'll sing the 3 verses.
And now we have our reading for Extinguishing the Chalice, More Courage and More Soul, and this is also David White. The rich flow of creativity, innovation, and almost musical complexity we are looking for in a fulfilled work life cannot be reached through trying or working harder. The medium for the soul, it seems, must be the message. The river down which we raft is made up of the same substance as the great sea of our destination. It is an ever-moving, first-hand creative engagement with life and with others that completes itself simply by being itself. This kind of approach must be seen as the great art of working in order to live, of remembering what is most important in the order of priorities, and what place we occupy in a much greater story than the one our job description defines. Other great arts, such as poetry, can remind and embolden us to this end. Whatever we choose to do, the stakes are very high. With a little more courage and, above all, a little more soul, our lives can be so easily discovered and celebrated in work, and not, as now, squandered and lost in its shadow.
When the reverberations of shock subside in you, may grace come to restore you to balance. May it shape a new space in your heart to embrace this illness as a teacher who has come to open your life to new worlds. Let's keep visioning and dreaming about this place for a long time.
We have spent time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. We have spent time together,